Alright, round up the kids, call all the neighbors, and leave the dishes in the sink. We are off again on another jaunt on the Torch News Roundup, number 42 edition. First up, check out our first image of Black Lightning in costume. I think it looks extremely awesome. Chris Williams will play Jefferson Pierce on CW's Black Lightning. In other casting news, Christine Adams will be playing Jefferson's ex-wife Lynn. You might recognize the actress from her stint on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Agent Weaver. Nafissa Williams has been cast as Pierce's elder daughter, Anissa, and China Anne McClain will play his younger daughter, Jennifer. The series is currently shooting in Atlanta and is expected to debut in late 2017. Also big news regarding a new Batgirl solo film in the DCU, which will supposedly be written, produced, and directed by the one and only Joss Whedon. One can only wonder if things will fall through the way it has for the Flash and Batman solo films. But if it comes to pass, Whedon would make a very good choice to spearhead the film. Whedon recently left Marvel over a clash with them over his work on Age of Ultron. Whedon also approached Warner's for directing a Wonder Woman movie back in the day that eventually they rejected. I've always loved the character of Batgirl, and I'm really hoping this shapes up to be something special. I imagine with Batman having gray hair and Dick Grayson already being Nightwing in this continuity, I'm guessing the actress that ends up with the role will probably be the nearer side of 30. It's usually fun to play the casting game, but I admit no one really comes immediately to mind. The only thing I hope is that I really don't want to see her get shot by the Joker and paralyzed. I hate the Killing Joke. I hate what they did to her there. I get the reasons why some people like the idea of her triumphing over adversity and everything, but I always felt it was a great disservice to one of DC's main female characters to get treated like that. There are other ways of seeing a hero triumph over adversity without making them permanently paralyzed. I mean, Batman got his back broken by Bane, for goodness sake, and he was allowed to resume the cowl months later. The same should be afforded to Barbara Gordon. I don't want her stuck behind a computer. I want to see her out in action. The dynamic Daredevil. So the only way to get me against this movie is if they go that way. But I'm guessing with Whedon in charge, Batgirl will get the respect she deserves. And hey, I'm hoping for a lot more J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. This might be the place. Alright, so here we are with the second SpiderMan Homecoming trailer. This one seems to expound on the first trailer. A lot of people are saying that it showed too much, and while I don't think they really showed too much, it does feel like we pretty much have all the story beats laid out for us. Peter tries to live up to the Avengers, ends up screwing up. Tony chastises him. Peter goes back out there on his own and ends up, supposedly, defeating the Vulture. Now, I'm sure there are a lot more twists and turns than that, but it certainly feels like that's the whole story presented here. I really love Robert Downey Jr. introducing the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man phrase. A lot of people also criticize the fact that RDJ seems to be in the trailer too much, but I seriously don't think he'll dominate the screen time. And frankly, even if he does, so what? I mean, isn't this what we wanted? We're finally getting a shared Marvel universe, including Spider-Man, so let's make the most of it. It'll probably not be unlike their plans to team up Thor with the Hulk in the upcoming Ragnarok. I really love that they got Chris Evans back in costume to do a cameo. And his Avengers costume, no less. I love that costume. I'm probably the only one, too. But I prefer it to his other more bulky costumes from the other films. This is the guy they routinely say is counting the days until his contract expires. Frankly, I don't think so. I'm guessing once Evans is done with his contract, they'll give him offers not unlike what they're doing with RDJ. A few appearances co-starring in other heroes' films and the odd Avengers movie. I'm surprised they're still running that PSA in Peter's school, since isn't Cap supposed to be a fugitive of the law for the whole fiasco over the Sokovia Accords? I like that little line, though. I stole his shield. We get a little more of that action set piece with Spidey trying to hold that ship together, and that looks like it's going to be a sweet action scene with Iron Man also involved. And so Tony asks for the suit back because Peter was apparently reckless or some such. Which, by the way, Tony Stark, total Indian giver in the MCU. Captain America, I want that shield back. My dad made that. Spider-Man, I want that suit back. You're not ready to wear it. The guy wants everything back. But seriously, this is probably my only problem with the trailer. Apparently, Peter is going through at least half of the movie in his proto costume. Now, I hope it's only for, like, one action scene, but it looks like it could be up to 3 scenes of him wearing it. He looks like he's wearing it in an underground garage, an amusement park, and the airplane rescue at the end. It's a little discouraging for me personally, I'll be honest, if in a big budget movie they have Peter wearing the equivalent of the PJs I wore as a kid for over half the movie, but we'll wait and see. We see the spider fly off the costume's emblem, and I remember someone saying that was a spider tracer. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it would be a cool idea. We don't see a lot of the Shocker or the Tinkerer, and that's fine, but ho-ho! The Vulture looks awesome! I'm really most of all looking forward to Michael Keaton's Vulture. He looks incredible. He's talking about protecting his family. Now, is he talking about his crime family here? I don't think so. I think they said somewhere that Vulture will be the owner of some salvage company, which would make him an actual Vulture in practice, which is a nice touch. So all in all, it looked like a great trailer to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this one on the big screen in the summer. That's the good news. Now that we have that out of the way, we have the bad. Many are speculating that Spidey's involvement in the MCU could be relatively short-lived. Amy Pascal, who was co-producer of SpiderMan Homecoming, recently had this to say. One of the things that I think is so amazing about this experience is that you don't have studios deciding to work together to make a film very often. In fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel. Now, it's been theorized that by her saying it may never happen again after the sequel, and with Sony paving the way for their own Spidey universe with solo Venom and Black Cat movies, Sony is going to let Marvel add some luster back to the Spidey name with Tom Holland for a few films before severing ties with Marvel and presumably thrusting Tom Holland into their Spidey universe, or perhaps rebooting yet again entirely. When asked, Tom Holland said he hasn't yet been asked to appear in the Sony Spideyverse films, but he would decide whether or not to sign upon reading the scripts. Now, it appears that Holland has been signed up for 5 films in the MCU: Civil War, Homecoming, Avengers Infinity War and its sequel, and the as-yet untitled Homecoming sequel due out in July 2019. So hopefully, within the next 6 or 7 years, cooler heads will prevail and Sony will decide that they like to make money again, rather than continue making vanity projects. Speaking of which, Sony's Venom movie is now being described as an R-rated action, horror, sci-fi film. And so it begins. I knew the wrong lessons would be learned from Deadpool and Logan, and now studios are going to glut the market with as many R-rated comic book films as possible, heralding the death knell of the genre on film. Rather than go on about it here, I've already done a rant on the subject which you can find here. Sony's Venom is set to be released October of 2018 and is expected to start shooting this fall. It's also rumored that the Black Cat Silver Sable movie will also begin production soon for a 2018 release. Alrighty then, that's about it for another week. Let me know what you think about this week's news by giving me a holler in the comments below. I'll usually answer all comments if I can, if I have something to say. Check out my links to my website and Twitter page in the description below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe if you're so inclined. As always, it's much appreciated. Until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.